reducing every time, and what is the implication of this in terms of delays in getting the utility of the projects that we are passing, issues of honoring bilateral conditions, issues relating to incurring of more costs in fees and commissions, and issues of capacity. Is it that we don't have capacities to deliver on all of these projects? Bwana CS, I have analyzed, and if you check State Department of Technical Vocation, for instance, we only had a 30% performance of the grants available to that sector, 47% performance on the loans. The ASAL area, the Department for ASAL, had only 16% performance on the monies available to them from the loans and 55% performance on the grants. That means the people of Kenya are not getting the development that they need. What is the issue there? Secondly, what is the Treasury as the overall agency responsible for finance doing to ensure that actors at both national and county levels are able to uptake development funds?
Senator Dulo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wish to join my colleagues to welcome Honorable Mbadi. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask a question on revenue. I believe it is related to development projects and the funding. Mr. Speaker, we have never gotten it right as far as the system on collection or automation of revenue in the counties are concerned. Mr. Speaker, over the years, we have even tried KRA to be collecting revenue on behalf of the counties. Again, recently, there was a proposal that they want to come up with a system that is actually going to take care of revenue automation in the counties, Mr. Speaker, so that we have a uniform system. Mr. Speaker, we are losing a lot of money in those counties, which could have actually complemented the budget allocated by the national government. CS, my question is, since you are the new broom, how can you ensure that the revenues collected at the county level, it's properly collected, and you come up with an automated system in all the counties? Because you will see that cash is collected in all the counties. Yesterday, we had actually Siaya County, where they are still collecting revenue cash. And it's actually 21st century today. Mr. Speaker, my question is, can you be able to come up with actually a system that is accepted across the board? Because governors are actually fighting that system. If you can be able to come up with a system, Kenyans are actually going to save a lot of money as far as revenue collected at the county level is concerned. I thank you.
Senator for Nandi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to ask the Cabinet Secretary, and I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker. You remember the former CS never stepped in this house even after we sanctioned. I want to thank Mr. Speaker. My simple question is, as at now, Waziri, what is the total pending bill by the national government? Because sometimes we hear that roads are only pending bill of 700 billion. Plus, as of today, what is the total both domestic and international debt that Kenya owes in this country? I thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Mbugua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and allow me to join my colleagues in congratulating the CS. And I would want the CS to tell this House the specific amount of money the National Treasury owes in pending bills and what the government, through the Treasury, is doing to clear these bills because they're having a negative effect on our economy. Thank you.
Senator Professor Margaret Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. May I congratulate the Minister and welcome him to the House. I worked with him in the 10th Parliament, in the Budget Committee, and I know how sharp he is. So he's truly the new broom in the House. Mr. Speaker, I had a problem with his first response when he referred us back to the individual ministries to get the pending bills. Does it mean that the Treasury does not know the pending bills and does not have these records? Because our assumption is that all the other ministries, money, as far as money is concerned, respond to Treasury, and when they have pending bills, they should be talking to Treasury. So I thought that was a very important question, that we needed to know the link between the ministries and Treasury as far as pending bills are concerned. Don't they have the data? Thank you.
Senator Kisang.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also wish to join my colleagues to congratulate the new CS, a colleague of mine for 10 years in National Assembly. I know you are a smart CS, and we believe you're going to do a lot of things there and help Kenyans. Mine, Honorable Speaker, is a comment from what Senator Tula said. You know, National Treasury has a system that is centralized, the IBMIS system that basically manages the expenditure at the counties. And I don't see the reason why they should not have an integrated revenue management system for the counties. The governors are fighting because they are stealing by collecting cash, they are stealing by having their own systems with their collaborators. So, Honorable Speaker, I want the CS to commit that by all means, that system, integrated revenue management system, has been rolled to seal the leakages of revenue at the counties.
Honorable CS, you may now proceed to respond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me say, in response to the supplementary question from the questioner, the Senator Catherine Moma, that question number 2, which was asking the specific pending bills that were paid in the financial year in question. It's not that I've refused or my ministry has refused to respond, but this may require a little bit, quite a bit of time because usually when payments are made by the ministries or state departments and MDS, we don't disintegrate that this one is now for pending bill and this is a new bill. We make payments continuously, and then the figure for pending bills are supplied at the end of the financial year. And I'll come to that because that is a question that Senator Margaret Kamar also asked. So I just thought that if maybe there are specific ministries where you are interested in knowing the specific pending bills that were paid, then that would have been supplied easily. But if this House finds that my ministry supplies this information, it will take a while, but we can still supply the information. On whether we could have a template, Honorable Speaker, maybe I just continue. I hope Senator Catherine could attend to...
Senator Muma, if
yes.
you've abandoned your questions.
Yeah, so she asked whether we could design a template to capture this information. Yes, we could, But again, you know, we have the Public Sector Accounting Standards Board, which determines the kind of systems that we use. It is a recommendation that we can put to the board so that they approve it, and then we have a system that would capture some of this information as and when they are onboarded to the system. Again, Senator, you are spot on that the approved budget is not what is expended. That is true. Our absorption level is very low, especially on donor-funded, so to speak, projects or projects funded through development partners, through loans and grants. And this is because of a number of reasons, some of which are internal, some also relate to the development partners. But a lot of issues is because of us. Number one, most of the donor-funded projects require counterpart funding. Sometimes we put the donor-funded projects in the budget without sufficient provision, or we end up reducing our budgets like it has happened in this financial year when we realize that we can't collect so much. So you find a deficit in the counterpart funding, which then would affect the donor-funded project, because for the development partners to release the money, they must be assured that the counterpart funding is guaranteed and is forthcoming. So that is a serious challenge that we must deal with. Secondly, there are also reporting issues raised by the development partners. But in terms of the strategy going forward, without going into the details why these absorptions have not been forthcoming or have not been smooth, we have a team that is looking into this matter, coordinated from my ministry, and we are going to address all these issues. Actually, just a few days, I think 2 days ago, I was dealing with a case of the Finnish government ready to provide us with grants, not even a loan. But then our delay, our internal systems are complicating the implementation of the same. So these are issues that are efficiency issues which must be dealt with. But there are also the other ones of budgetary issues. Those ones we must also have a strategy on how to make sure that if we are factoring funding in our budget from development partners, there must be a matching funds or the counterpart funding so that when it comes to implementation, the implementation becomes smooth. So that addresses your issue of how then would we ensure the uptake of these development funds. It is something that, especially now that funding is shrinking by the day, we must make sure that we clear the hurdles on these development funded projects. Senator Dulo has raised serious concerns with the collection